hustle. Crush them up, all these streets need bosses. Boss them up.
Big dog status, Bill Hubble. A ball in his mouth for my brothers. So your bag.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Gin Blend Podcast. My name is JJ.
And I'm Raquel, aka Nurse Rock, and I want to start out this second episode by thanking you guys for all of the support that we received on the first episode. I appreciate all the positive feedback. We definitely appreciate the constructive criticism that we've gotten. But overall, it has been a wonderful experience, and we can tell we're going to have some great supporters. So thank you for that. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
it's the push. We need to head on to do more, right?
Yeah, a lot of great support in the beginning.
Yeah. So I kind of wanted to circle back because some of the feedback mentioned that they really wanted us to go a little bit deeper when we were talking about college, trade, and entrepreneurship. Yeah. So what do you think? Give us some more information on that. What you think about it?
Well, I see a big difference now. I was seeing something on the internet where my generation is the most educated generation. We have a lot of degrees, but not enough jobs out there. We're struggling to find jobs. I feel like it was easier back then because there was less people with degrees, and there was more available jobs. And I think now it's like there's less jobs because of,
Well, yeah, I agree with that. I feel like one way to look at it is that people are bringing more to the table. It's like a lot of people are bringing a lot to the table. And so in order to get to the person that they think will fit that job, they're looking at a lot of requirements. So it's not just going to college and then you're done, right? It's more than that. You got to bring a few things to the table. And I think your energy, how you approach a job and all that matters in order for somebody to actually think that, oh, this person stands out. Because everybody can make their resume look good.
I think too, though, but people don't settle either.
That's true.
They think their degree, they're supposed to be at a certain level, and if they're not at that level, they're not going to take a lesser job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
But sometimes
I'm one of those people that believe y'all don't need to settle.
Yeah. Sometimes people will take a lesser job, like entry level, just to get their foot in the door.
Yeah.
Kind of like what I did, just get my foot in the door, and then we try to move up within the company that way. But a lot of people are like, nah, that's not enough. I need more. They don't want to settle. So.
I agree. And I think, and honestly, I really feel like we're starting to really understand that even though degrees are important, believe me, I know that. I love school. I love being educated and all those things. But intelligence is not measured by how many degrees you have.
That's a fact. Yeah.
So that's how I look at that. I mean, because I think about it while we're talking about this, it's like, you guys have to have a balance. I feel like for any degree that you go into, you got to have a certain amount of passion for it. Or people that are successful that start small businesses, mainly most of that, why they're successful is because they started out passionate. Yeah. They're passionate in the present and they're passionate about their future. It's like you have that passion, that motivator should be something internal. Because I'm one of those people that believe comparison, when you start looking at other people and what they're doing, comparison is definitely the thief of joy. So I feel like if people can start to figure out exactly, hey, what is it that I really want without looking at the next person, and then stack up your things, put them steps in order to get what you want.
And I think today a lot of people forget about trades and stuff like that. They focus on the education, but trade school is like just as important. It is.
Yeah. And as we can see with this world that we're living now, y'all, we can't make it without trades. Yeah. We can't. You need a good plumber. You need a good electrician.
I'm not doing no plumbing. I ain't doing no construction. No, I can't do like electrician type of stuff.
What about mechanics?
I definitely can't do nothing on my car. I know nothing about cars.
Stuff. Yes, that's what I'm saying. So it's like I feel like sometimes we start to neglect some pretty good areas, and some of those areas also are part of our entrepreneurship. The reason why America has been doing so well in the economy had to do a lot with the small business owners. And a lot of those small business owners come from some type of trade. or some type of family business that they had in the past that their parents or whomever taught them that particular trade, because they had their hands on it as they were growing up as a child. And honestly, I hate to say it, but those are the ones I trust the most. And that might be a Gen X thing. It could be Gen X, but for me, I trust when I know that this person's daddy and the granddad and all these people like did this sort of business. You know what I mean? And they've been in business since 1906.
They more trustworthy,
right? And they, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And they're less likely to just fabricate a reason or something or make up something and not really have the true reason why something's messed up, like why your refrigerator is not doing this, or and they might just say, oh, it's just this, you just need this part. But most of the time when it comes from years and years or generations and generations, they're going to actually investigate, or they'll tell you up front, that can't be fixed. I can't do that. This right here, you may need to buy a new one. You know what I mean? Instead of, but some people just take your money because they might hadn't had no calls in a while. You know what I mean? And so you don't really know. You have to trust who's going to mess with your stuff.
Or they'll do the work and they'll do like half of it so you can come back and spend more money with them.
Spend more money. So that's why I'm saying it's all about all about how you trust that person that does your stuff. But I really do feel like now we're living in a time where college definitely important. Trades are important, and entrepreneurship. I think we're finally at a place where things are kind of almost at an equal playing field. Because can you imagine without either one of those groups?
No, it's a lot more people today too are starting businesses on their own. Like back then it was just a business like passed down. Right. But now everybody got like their own where they're starting. It's like brand new businesses and LLCs, and people are going out there because of the internet to get the information they need, and it's easier to learn how to start a business and get a business plan going.
I agree.
Especially like with things like ChatGPT and stuff, you can ask AI questions and stuff like that. So.
And then I know people that like cooking certain things, and then they start inviting people over, and then people start telling them how good their food is, and then they took up the initiative to start like a catering business or a restaurant, which is to me better than some of these franchises. You know what I mean? Because they're gonna make their stuff the cheapest way they can make it. Where you got most of the time when it's a small business, like a small town restaurant, they're going to the farmer's market. They're going to different places. You know what I mean? You get fresher food. That kind of thing. We got
a lot of examples like that in our family. Shameless plug, Sugar Euphoria. Randy. She started her bakery business.
She does beautiful stuff for weddings, and you can come by her shop downtown in the Raleigh area. But she was good at it. She took a chance.
She did it part-time at first.
And then she went out there and went full throttle. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like you got to have a passion for something. If your passion is being you have a certain career, then yes, go to college, do what you need to do, line it up so that you can be successful in what you want. To me, we talked about success last time. Success has to do with what fulfills you. You know what I mean? That's a lot about that. So if you want to go to college to do certain things so that you can make it a step to do your next thing, fine. But don't ever let anybody make you think that's your only route. Like if you want to do trade, fine. If you want to start a business, fine. The thing is having a plan. Having a plan. And
then today is the new thing with content creation, social media, digital marketing.
Digital marketing, you're right.
A lot of stuff out there. A lot of ways to make money out there. So
it is. It is.
Everybody's gonna have their different path to success.
Yeah, and I did want to. So, the research girly in me, I looked up a few things and I wanted y'all to see, because I know this is a question that was coming up. So college education. A lot of people, we do that because of the money that's in it, right? So I did some looking up on what some of the popular college degrees, what the usual, they say this is your starting point, your first with starting to up to a couple of years of experience when you went to college for these particular things. Engineering, depending on the type, this is United States, right? This is the average. So some states pay more, some pay less. But we're looking at what, 70 to 100,000, depending on your field, unless the specialty field, something like electrical engineer, of course, would be more. But computer science, you're looking at around 100,000. Then you're talking about healthcare. Healthcare can be, if you're just doing public health, it depends on where, like if you're going to be a nurse, you're going to be a nurse like in the school system, then you're going to have a lower pay like that 55, 65, 75. But nursing can take you well over 100,000 after a couple of years experience. Education, what they give us for education, I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, it should be more.
Education's like 40, between 40 and 60.
Yeah.
I don't think that's fair.
If you think about it, teachers are very important because
they are.
In order to get into those like professions, somebody has to teach you.
Right.
So like I feel like you should be getting paid.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't make any
numbers,
sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
And this is also proof of what I said last time, because they're saying psychology, sociology. If you're just going to get a bachelor's in that, you're talking about a 50-ish. So in order to see your money from something like that, you definitely would have to get a master's degree or some type of certification or licensure to be able to do your own thing, in order to get that to go higher up on the pole.
It's like you gotta spend more money to make more money.
You do. Yeah. You have to spend a little bit more money. And then stuff like arts and history and stuff like that, music, unless you become famous, normally it is around 35, 40 to 50. So that's kind of low. But when we start to look at trades, when I tell you the numbers are so comparable to college degrees, it's not even funny. Electricians are up to 70, they're around 75,000. Plumbers, 75. Then you got HVAC. Now, you know, you're not going without your, you're not going
I need
without
my AC.
People gonna pay. Listen, they're gonna pay that before they pay anything else. People want that. They want the AC, and so HVACs is 65 plus. Then you have carpenters that make around 65 plus. Welders around 60. Masoners around 65. Heavy equipment operators around 70. Which I'm a Gen Xer, so heavy equipment operators was popular back then. They made bank.
Was that like forklifts?
Yeah, and then also that they were kind of along the line with the welders. And the welders and they made good money back then compared to what people were making like on a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Then you got the roofers, and it says automotive technician. I don't care what nobody say. An automotive technician can make some money.
Yeah. Always need your oil change and
right.
Brakes.
Right. You can not only work for like car dealerships and stuff, but that's like definitely a place where you can entrepreneurship and get your own.
Especially if you do good work, people will always come back, try to get, a better price than the bigger corporations and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I want you guys to engage with us in the comments though, since we just brought all this up. Tell us what your view is on this. Like, how do you feel about going to school for 4 years for whatever you picked and making less than somebody that may have went to a program that maybe was 12 months to get a certificate to be something like, one of these trade jobs? Sometimes it's 1 to 2 years, and they're working, they're out there, they're in those streets, they get that money, and they don't have the student loans to pay back. Also,
with like another route with no student loans for like stuff like IT stuff, or computer science stuff. Now that you got YouTube University, and you can teach yourself and do projects that are available online to show your employer that you know what you're talking about and you're a good fit for the job. So instead of doing 4 years at a university, you can do 1 to 2 years, or even sometimes 6 months. You can learn something and get in it that way. Let's spend less money that way.
I agree.
And there's a lot of videos and a lot of channels that can teach you a lot of different things in the tech world. So
I feel like as a Gen Xer, I feel like my kids, the millennials, kind of got me into the YouTube University. There's so much, even there's so much you can learn on YouTube. So much, and they'll tell you step by step if you feed it the right type of search. It'll tell you so much. So yeah, we have. I mean, there's a lot of different, different areas. But okay. Since we brought up the whole thing about salaries, we'll throw a little wrench in this, and I want you to guide me through your millennial point of view. Listening and watching a few things, and then us talking about salaries. And okay, we know how it is when you're single. When you're single, that's all on you, because you got to think about what does it take to make it. Like, what does it really take to make it and be comfortable? Not to go out here and blow money, but I'm talking about to make it, to have all your essentials paid for and still be able to every now and then go to a movie, go out to eat,
and put some away.
Yeah. That kind of thing. So single is going to look different, right? But what about couples? I think there's a big difference between how the Gen Xers and before me, the baby boomers handle income. Like the like how do you think they split it up and share it out? As far as like now with the millennials, I'm pretty sure our views might be a little bit different. Like when you look at stuff like that, you know, who's bringing what to the table, and should it be a 50-50, a 70-30, 100%? Like what have you heard? Like what's popular?
Well, I think it hasn't changed to where people think like the man should be the provider, which I feel the same way, but there should also be some help from the partner, depending on your situation too. Like depends on how much the man makes. Like let's say the man makes like 200,000 or something like that, and the woman, and y'all got kids, she stays home. She should be, if she's staying home, she should be like keeping the house together, you know what I'm saying? But like if she's working, like I feel like she should contribute to something. It don't always have to be 50-50. I don't think 50-50 is bad, because it is supposed to be a partnership, and 50-50 is a partnership. But like contribute something to help with the family towards a relationship. But I don't think it should be just 100-0.
Do you think
it depends on the situation too, though?
Do you think women now expect? Do you think it's expected that the man does 100% now?
I don't think a good woman does.
Oh wow, that's what you.
I think a good woman will try her best to help, or at least ease the man's job and like make it less stressful.
Yeah.
Whether that's like making sure the house is clean, making sure dinner's ready when he gets home from work, stuff like that. I feel like that sounds bad because I'm giving like women roles.
Yeah.
But I just don't think 50-50 is bad. Some people think it's like terrible. Like I saw something on the internet where it was like, if you're doing 50-50, you're half of a man. Like I don't believe that at all.
Right. I mean,
I feel like I respect the woman more if she's doing 50-50. You know what I'm saying? Because like I feel like there's more love because she's like, she wants to help me take this. You know, it's a partnership. She wants to help take the stress off of me because there's a lot of stress with that financial responsibility, having to pay everything, and then you know, still try to be like happy and be with the family and stuff like that. It's a lot of stress especially if you're struggling paying the bills. Right.
Yeah. I think that makes the point. Like a couple of things that stood out with what you said, and one of them was partnership. And then the other thing was, you know, the part about, you know, stressing the other one out. I don't think there's much like a huge difference over the generations of what we would like. It's like when I felt like when you partner together, you're gonna kind of label out what your goals are together. I would think if I tried to put in a lot behind my partner, then they're gonna reciprocate that. Like they're gonna do the same. We're gonna pour into each other, support each other, type of thing. Because there are gonna be times, especially with women, and I'm gonna talk to the women. Okay, because I've been married a while, right? 36 years. So. And we started out very young, and I remember both of us being out there trying to work, trying to do whatever we needed to do to make the ends meet until we figured out what our thing was going to be to help us get to where we needed to be. But it was never a point where I felt like, oh, I'm the woman, so he just better do it. He just better do it all. Yeah. Like I didn't want to stress him out like that. I always felt like we're in this thing together. Now, later down in the years, there came a time in our marriage where, okay, we're going to have these children, or you may have no other choice, because when I got pregnant with you, I was put on bed rest.
Yeah, true.
Because
Yeah.
so I couldn't carry children well. You know, my cervix was small and all the things, and so I had to come out of work, and so but.
I feel
Your
like
dad was so happy to get ready to have a baby that he was like, okay, I'll do whatever. And he would work 2 jobs, 3 jobs.
I feel like he wanted to do that too. Like he wanted to be that provider that made sure you had what you needed and you didn't have to do too much too.
Yeah.
So
I feel like for him, he was proving the point that, you know, I was his family. He could show, even though people said we were so young to get married, he was trying to prove that he was ready, that he was man enough. He was ready, and he proved it. Now he got out there and he did what he had to do. But I think even now though, like if you don't never know when that's gonna happen. I feel like you should set up your budgets where if one of y'all, and sometimes it could be the man, something could happen to the man.
Yeah, that's my point. If
it could happen to either one.
That's why I think women should have some sort of income, because like what if something happens to the man's job and then there's zero income and then you guys are like, and
everybody's stressed out at that point.
It's even more stressful.
Yeah.
So I feel like the woman should try to find something she's passionate about and make as some sort of income. It don't have to be a lot, but like I said, it doesn't have to be 50-50, but 50-50 would be nice.
Yeah. I mean, I know there were years when it was mainly almost 100%. Like at first it started out 50-50 and then it went to where mainly about 100% was from your dad as far as money coming in. But for me, this is just me and my makeup, and I don't know if other Gen Xers can chime in the comments, but for me, if he was going to work 2 or 3 jobs to make sure that I can carry his baby and I can raise his kids, then I'm going to, back then, and you still remember, I cooked every day. I cooked every day. I made sure my house was clean. I made sure my babies were nice and fresh and clean.
Picked us up from school.
I made sure they were educated, all the things, because I didn't have to go clock in.
Yeah.
Your dad would get home late, and his first thing, y'all would be wanting to jump on him. His first thing he would do was hit the shower and come out and play with y'all before y'all went to bed, because he went early in the morning and he didn't come home until late in the evening, right before bedtime for y'all. So how would I look if I would just lay around and watch soap operas and not do nothing while he did all that? That's not fair. That's not love. That's not partnership.
Some women out there that do that.
Well, for me, and that's a Gen X point of view, and y'all can definitely hit me back in the comments. Like, and I watched as a Gen Xer, so I watched baby boomers, and I came from watching my aunts, and I watched them cook, so I was able to cook. My grandma Toot, my Heart, my grandma Hilda, they knew how to cook. So I could look, and I took my lessons from Toot. I also saw her fix my granddaddy's plate. So when I got married, I fixed his plate, and he would help with the dishes and stuff like that. And I was a little bit selfish. One of the reasons why I fixed y'all plate back then. And I always, growing up, I fixed everybody's plate and put it on the table. One of the reasons why I did that, I never forget, I made rice and like roast and gravy and greens and all that. But when your dad said, babe, I got it, I'll fix my own plate, he put the spoon in the rice and he just put a big old pile of rice in the middle and then threw his gravy and stuff. And that's not how you do it. He dug in the rice like a big old, but I like to, take a little bit spoons of the rice, and then you break it down and, kind of smash it down a little bit, and then you put the gravy over, make it pretty. Like, he didn't even care if it was presentable.
Yeah.
But he still said, I was like, dang, this is good, babe. He still was tearing it up, but I was like, oh no, I can't, y'all can't. And then I looked at my pots, and my pots had uneven big old dips in it, and I'm like, I like for myself to have like nice little shaved, everything's shaved off, everything is proportionate. Now that's probably my fault. Because I was like, I don't want nobody digging in my pots. After I done did all this cooking, I want everything to stay pretty.
That's why I am the way I am right now. Because I like for a woman to bring me my plate or fix my plate. I don't like fixing my own plate.
You don't like fixing your own plate. Yeah. Well, I mean, I always, that's probably part, sorry y'all, that's me.
And I can't be with no woman that can't cook.
Really?
Yeah, that's a deal breaker for me. I can't.
Well,
because I can't cook. I need to learn. I know I need to learn how to cook.
One of y'all got to know how to cook.
Somebody got to learn how to cook. Right now, it's not me. I'm scared. I ain't scared, but like it's. We'll talk about it another day.
I think I really feel like there's so many things, which is why one of the reasons for this podcast. There's so many things that has influenced us, y'all. Gen Xers, we saw certain things day in, day out, and that just ended up being the way that we ended up doing things. And then some people, it influenced them in a good way. And then I think there are some people that might have got influenced the wrong way. Like there could have been somebody sitting back that said, for instance, somebody could have been like, well, when I get married, I'm going to fix my husband's plate just like Raquel does. And the next person be like, listen, honey, when I get married, ain't no way in the world I'm gonna fix my plate for no man like Raquel does. You know, you never know, because people have different perceptions.
Yeah.
And for me, even when it came to the point where I actually started working, you know, once y'all started driving and doing all that good stuff. Well, I worked before then, but actually working a full-time job, I didn't until y'all were like able to do for yourself. Yeah. And they don't know our history. You know what I mean? So if they meet me in that point in my life and I'm still fixing the plate, they may not understand. You know, why is she but it's something in me. You know what I mean? My husband is a cleaner, so he kept the house clean. Yeah. He still does.
Neat freak.
He's very OCD about stuff being so. Listen, I was not mad. So your dad always cleaned and I would cook. And it was a nice balance. And I feel like that's what we're talking about, a partnership. It needs to be I think that's one of those things you have a discussion about. Yeah. You know, like what does the partnership look like to you? Not only with income, but as duties and stuff around the house. Responsibilities. Yeah. What are we doing? And that should be stuff that you discuss. Like when you're finding out, okay, what can't I do? What can I do? I think those are important. I don't think you should. Some people remain single in their head. Yeah. When they're actually in a partnership. Yeah. When you're in a partnership, it can't be all about you. Yes, you gotta too selfish. Right, you gotta break that down. You gotta break that down a little bit.
And I also think too with you and my dad. So it was a point where he stepped back from his business and was making less money, and then you were making I assume you were making more money, and he went back to school while you was working, and y'all was able to switch roles kind of, and still be successful.
That's true.
And still take care of the family and take care of what needed to be taken care of for a short period of time. Y'all switched roles. So.
Yep, he let me do it for a little while. Yeah, and then he rose back up over me as soon as he got the degree. I'm not. Listen, there's one thing what he'll say though. He said he'll never understand how a man be mad that a woman make more money than him. He said me making money make him feel good.
That's what I'm saying. And that's just better for the both of y'all.
Yeah, I didn't do it long though, but I had it for a little bit. Listen, because he always gonna bring in more bread than me, but that's cool. I ain't mad at him. I'm never gonna be mad at him for bringing in.
That says a lot about him though, because he doesn't have that pride of where he won't let you make the money. So
he doesn't. He doesn't have that, which I think is I think that's a good thing. Y'all too. I just want to talk to y'all just a little bit. We want you to get value out of the Gen Blend podcast, and so we're going to be talking about things that people may be thinking and they just don't bring up, right? Yeah. To other people. And so this is going to be a place where I want you guys to feel comfortable talking about it, because we're all allowed to have different opinions about everything, and we will have, and we need to be able to announce, hey, no, I didn't do it. Especially people that don't do things the traditional route. Yeah. Like a lot of people don't talk about it, but toot your horn. Tell us about it. Let us hype you up. Right? Let us talk about how this was done this way. You know, if you're the first person in your family to go off and do something a different way, tell us about it. Talk about it, because you're helping that person that's sitting back, that's doubting if they can do it. But if they hear from you, we should do that for others. I think talking about your journey helps others.
Yeah, because some people just think it's one road where there's plenty different paths you can take to success and to happiness, and that just depends on your situation and your views and your morals, and you just gotta explore with different things too, and go out there, do your research on different things, and don't be closed-minded. Be more open-minded about more options that you have. Don't be closed-minded to just I just want to go to college. Think about the other options that are out there for you. So.
And make your plan throughout the whole process.
Gotta be
like if you say, if you want, what I tell people all the time, because I've had two different real college goals, right? And what I tell people all the time, you can always go back to college. Have a plan. And a lot of people say, well, I don't have the time right now. I'm going to give y'all a little tidbit. If you wanted to go back to college, since I'm the queen of going back to college, honey, you could find out what little classes or prereqs or what's the classes before you actually get into the core class that you need. And with these virtual learning and online classes, just pick up 1-2 classes at a time while you're trying to make your mind up. But it's going to help you because you'll have 10 or 15 of those courses knocked out of the way. And so when you get ready to make your decision, you can just jump right in to your core. So you don't have to waste time. You can take classes. You can pick up a trade. You can find trade schools that do evenings. There are some that do only weekends if you're working a Monday through Friday. Yeah. So find stuff that will fit your schedule. So, and it may be a sacrifice, believe me. I know. Yeah. It's a sacrifice. But if you really truly want to hit it and do it, find ways that will work. Always reach out. Like, we have these comments, we can inbox whatever privately, but always reach out. Feel free to reach out to the Gym Blend because I'm a researcher at heart. I know a lot of different things, a lot of funding for school, different ways to do things, especially if you're going to go into healthcare. Anything that's a public service like teachers, nursing, anything like that. There are forgivable scholarships that you can get, and that all you have to do is work in North Carolina. North Carolina gives those back to you. So there's a lot of ways you can go and not have a big bill when you get out. So
also too, there's like, going back to the options. I feel like a lot of people think that you have to finish college in like 4 years or less. That's right. Not you can do part-time. I didn't get my degree in 4 years. Everybody's path is different. So
I agree.
Just, start, you know what I'm saying? Get started on your path to whatever you want to do, your passion. So
yeah. And just the main thing is believe in yourself. Believe in don't let anybody discourage you from your dreams and going out there and tackling them and doing it. Because we're both witnesses. Yeah. That you definitely can do it. It sometimes in some of these courses it seems like it is not going to happen. Yeah. But don't give up and keep moving forward. And please, y'all, please be in the comments for us and let us know what it is that you would like for us to bring up, because we do have some subjects that are coming, but we'll always alter that if we need to. But like I said, reach out to us.
Yeah, we need more comments in the comment section and more likes. If you enjoyed it, please just like the video.
Yeah, go and make sure you're subscribing so that you'll know, and put on your notification bell so that you'll know when we actually upload. But right now we're definitely trying to keep to
once a week,
every week.
We want to try to get at some point, once we grow, to get twice a week. But right now, once a week. Right now we only have TikTok as far as other platforms. So go follow us at TikTok at the Gym Blend Podcast. Yeah. Yeah, this was a good episode.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're not going to hold y'all too long this time, but guess what? Please come back and we'll be ready for you. Yeah. Thank you for watching.
And this will be dropping on my birthday. So in the comments, wish me a happy birthday. Let me know that you watched the whole video. Say happy birthday, JJ. So I'll be turning 33.
33. Yeah. Yes. So, all right, y'all. We appreciate y'all. Until next time.
These streets can't cross them up. All these streets need bosses. Boss them up.
Big dog status, Bill Hubble. A ball in his mouth for my brothers. So your bag, told the cutter. I got it out the field.